So I wanted to talk about astronomy and how it actually works as a way to communicate information between higher and lower dimensions, and how most people, unfortunately, due to a lack of information, uh, use it incorrectly. Now, if you say, for instance, Mercury's in retrograde, so I'm going through whatever processing some emotions, that is actually wrong. You're not supposed to do that because you are placing your sovereignty, your divinity outside of yourself. The planets and solar system and your natal chart are supposed to act as a mirror to show you what you need to energetically work through on a karmic level in this lifetime and at certain periods of time, depending on whatever zodiac house they're in. And karma isn't just between you and another person, but between you and your true understanding of self and what uh, like soul contracts you want to fulfill in this lifetime. And planets are essentially a 3D manifestation of higher dimensional beings that we would call gods or deities. They are archetypal representations of God. They are lesser fractal expressions of God, of source consciousness. And we, in turn, are lesser, smaller fractal expressions of them. And we can see this in ADS CFT field theory, where it shows that our reality is actually a holographic projection, a two-dimensional holographic projection. And what gives us the illusion of three dimensions in space is that there is, on this 2D grid, a third spatial axis, which is scale invariant. So the higher up in scale of expression you are, the more authentic you are. And if you go up high enough, you eventually go to higher dimensions. This is what is shown in the chakra system with our seven main chakras, and then there's higher level density or dimensional chakras. This is going up this scale invariant axis. Now, it says that when you write the quantum wave equation of the gluon strand, the particle, well, the multidimensional string in string theory that ties particles together, with length, which is the energy or mass. And again, we know that mass is just a different state. It's just energy in a different state, just highly concentrated. That's why people, if you've heard someone say there's enough energy in a glass of water to power a city for a week, that's what they mean, is that it's a very dense form of energy. So when you write the gluon strand with length or energy expressed as a separate dimension, you get the wave equation of a graviton. Now, the graviton is the theorized physical particle responsible for gravity. But the thing is, it doesn't actually exist, because what creates gravity is mass, and mass is just another expression of energy. So if someone is acting in an authentic way at a higher vibrational level or scale of expression, they have a certain type of charismatic magnetism to them. And these higher dimensional beings will manifest in our reality as planets, which through our own uh, subconscious, we symbolically attach their likeness and meaning to the planets. And if this doesn't make sense to you, it's because you are still viewing time in a linear fashion from a three-dimensional perspective. Once you go to higher dimensions, time itself is circular. This is why paradoxes are so prevalent in world religions. Now, between these higher and lower dimensional objects in ADS-CFT field theory, they can tell that the lower dimensional objects are when they're highly coupled, they're insolvable, so to say. And the higher density objects, in this case deities, are apart. They are solvable, and then vice versa. So when the higher density objects are coupled, the lower density objects are apart. This is what happens when a planet goes in retrograde. The, from our perspective, the planet is moving backwards. And what dictates the flow of time is one's perception of self as being separate from other. This is why if you're in a flow state, you can get everything done and you don't have to worry about actually like going down a list or anything. Because as you move, if as time moves faster, you can gain access to more spatial axes. This is what denotes a difference in dimensions. It's not the spatial axes you have access to, but the density of the particles and your perception of time, which is your perception of self, that really is the distinguishing factor. So, as these higher dimensional beings, these gods, are solvable, they are, in a sense, learning. And then when we are solvable in these, again, these math equations, so to say, this is us processing whatever energetic archetype that this being represents. And this is when the planet is in retrograde. We're going through our subconscious and processing this energy, processing this karma, if we're doing the work and actually clearing it. And we can see this with Dr. Sheldrake's morphic field theory, where there was a group of rats that learned a skill, and then another group of rats learned the same skill faster, even though they were a continent apart. This is because the higher dimensional object of a rat, which all rats in our reality get their form from, was solvable. It learned the skill. And then from our linear perspective of time, this lower the lower dimensional form of rats, the second group, has to play catch up, so to say, to this higher dimensional form. This is the exact same thing with us as humans. We're having to play catch up when these higher dimensional fractal representations of us, the deities, are actually gaining and learning new knowledge because they're trapped in their own cycles of reincarnation. They don't have the same level of sentience as us just because that's how the nature of souls are. And this is what is the purpose of free will. It is integration of knowledge. So I hope you found this interesting, and leave a comment, leave a like or a heart if you liked it. And I'm going to post this on YouTube, so subscribe to my channel wherever I post this on social media. And I hope you have a great night.